諸君、その胸の奥底に、今も静かに、しかし確かに脈打つものを感じぬか。それは、遠い祖先から我々が受け継ぎ、幾多の時代の荒波を乗り越える力の源泉となってきた。我々日本人の魂の革新。そう。それこそが、私が今日、君たちと共に、その真の輝きを再発見し、そして人生の後半を、いや、生涯を力強く生き抜くための灯火としたいと願う、真の大和魂なのである。この大和魂という言葉は、決して古びた壁掛けの書のような、ただ眺めるだけのものではない。それは、君たちの血肉となり、日々の呼吸となり、そして人生の羅針盤となるべき、生きた力なのだ。大和魂と聞けば、ある者は古めかしい精神論を思い、あるいはある者は、かつての時代が残した影に眉を潜めるやもしれぬ。だが、断じて違うのだ。私がここで、君たち、特に人生の豊かなる坂道を登り、その頂からの景色を眺め、あるいは新たな下り路を試作深く見つめておられる諸君に、声を大にして訴えたい大和魂とは、そのような強愛な、あるいは時代錯誤なものでは決してない。それは、朝日に輝く桜花のような潔さ、風雪に耐える松のような、不屈の精神、逆境にもこごめせぬ柳のような強靭な柔軟さ、そして、他者を温かく包み込む春の陽光のような深い慈愛の心、これらすべてが融合し、我々の内なる最も美しい人間性として発露するもの、それこそが、私が生涯をかけて見つめ、そして世界に伝えようとした大和魂の本質なのだ。それは、決して声高に叫ぶものではなく、むしろ、静かなる決意、揺るがぬ信念、そして日々の誠実な行いの中にこそ、その真の姿は現れるのである。諸君、君たちがこれまでの人生で、家族のために、社会のために、そして自らの信念のために、歯を食いしばり、汗を流し、時には人知れず涙をこらえて歩んでこられた。その一つ一つの尊い経験の中にこそ、この大和魂の確かな輝きは、すでに、そして豊かに宿っておるのだ。それを、今一度、誇りを持って認識し、そして、これからの人生をさらに豊かに、意味深く、そして輝かせるための、具体的な力へと転換していこうではないか。君たちのその経験こそが、若い世代にとっては計り知れない道しるべとなり、また君たち自身にとっては、人生の最終章を飾るにふさわしい、深い英知の源泉となるのだ。では、そのために一体何が大事で、今日から何をすればよいのか。私、新渡戸稲造が、生涯をかけて探求し、そして実践しようと努めてきたことを踏まえ、三つの確かな道筋を、ここに、より深く、そして具体的に示したい。第一に大事なことは、自らの人格を、生涯の終わりまで磨き続けるという、謙虚にして崇高な決意だ。経験を重ねた君たちだからこそ到達できる、円熟した人格の輝き、それを、日々の小さな修養を通して、さらに深めていくのだ。それは、内なる良心の声に耳を澄まし、常に誠実であろうと努めることだ。この修養こそが、我々を人間たらしめる、最も尊い営みなのである。第二に大事なことは、その磨かれた人格をもって、年齢を言い訳にすることなく、勇気を持って行動し続けることだ。新たな学びへの挑戦、地域社会への貢献、あるいは長年心に秘めていたささやかな夢の実現、人生のどの段階にあっても、情熱の火を絶やさず、具体的な一歩を踏み出す、その行動こそが、君たちの魂を若々しく保ち、生きる喜びを与え続けるのだ。行動なき理想は、空虚な無双に過ぎぬ。そして第三に、何よりも大事なことの一つは、そのすべての行動の根底に、他者への温かい慈愛の心を持ち続けることだ。家族を愛し、友を思いやり、そして、縁あって出会うすべての人々、さらには、この美しい自然や文化に対してさえも、深い感謝と敬意を払い、 その発展に貢献しようと努める。その無償の愛こそが、君たちの人生を、そしてこの世界を、より美しく照らし出すのだ。この慈愛の心こそ、大和魂が放つ最も温かく、そして最も力強い光なのである。今日、私は、諸君と共に、この三つの柱、すなわち、人格の塔や、勇気ある行動、慈愛と貢献という、まさに大和魂の精髄とも言うべき生き方を、いかにして日々の生活の中で実践し、それによって、人生の最終章を、いや、新たなる黄金時代を、いかにして光り輝かせることができるのか、その確かな道筋を、私の全生涯の経験と、心の底からの情熱をもって、余すところなく語り尽くそうではないか。これは、決して難しいことではない。君たちがこれまでの人生で培ってきた経験、知恵、そして人間力そのものが、実はこの大和魂を体現するための最高の資本なのである。さあ、心の窓を大きく開き、私、新渡戸稲造の言葉に、しばし耳を傾けてはくれまいか。君たちの内なる声が、きっとそれに共鳴し、新たなる希望と勇気が、泉のように湧き上がってくることを、私は固く信じて疑わぬ。共に、その輝かしい道へと、今、一歩を踏み出そうではないか。諸君、まず、君たちがその胸に深く刻み込み、そして呼び覚まさねばならぬ大和魂の第一の姿。それは、自らの人格を磨き上げ、内なる誠の光に従って生きる、という揺るぎない決意である。世は、目に見える成果や他人からの評価ばかりを追い求める風潮に満ちておる。だが、人生における真の土台とは何か。それこそが、君たち一人一人の人格そのものなのだ。この人格こそ、君たちが生涯をかけて築き上げるべき、最も価値ある財産なのだ。それは、金銭では買えぬ、地位では得られぬ、唯一無二の宝である。私が札幌農学校で、ウィリアム、S. クラーク先生から受けた訓導は、生涯忘れることのできぬ宝だ。青年よ、大志を抱けという言葉の背後には、人間としてのあり方への鋭い問いかけがあった。先生は、知識や技術以上に、我々がいかにして、高潔な人格を備えた人間になるかを、その厳しくも温かい眼差しで常に問いかけておられた。彼の教えは、単なる学問の伝授ではなく、魂の触発であった。あの短い札幌滞在の中で、先生が我々青年の心に灯した火は、その後、内村勘三、宮部金吾といった学友たち、そして私自身の人生を、生涯にわたって照らし続けたのである。クラーク先生は、我々に、ただ知識を記憶するのではなく、それを自らの血肉とし、人格の成長へとつなげることの重要性を、身をもって教えてくださったのだ。その後、私自身、第一高等学校の校長として、また東京女子大学の初代学長として、最も重視したのは、知識の量ではない、いかに社会の役に立つ人物を育てるか、その一点にあった。人物の価値を測る基準は、人格を重視すべきである。その人のした仕事よりも、その人の性格を重く見ることである。目に見える業績や富は、時とともに移ろい、あるいは失われることもある。しかし、磨き上げられた人格、すなわち高潔な精神、豊かな人間性、そして揺るぎない倫理観は、いかなる状況にあっても、その輝きを失うことなく、その人を、そして周囲をも照らし続けるのだ。人生の後半に差し掛かり、あるいはすでにその豊かな実りの時期を迎えておられる諸君であればこそ、この人格の価値というものを、より深く理解されていることと信じる。諸君が長年かけて築き上げてこられた信用、人々からの信頼、それこそが、まさに人格の賜物ではないだろうか。では、その眠れる大和魂の品格を、どうすれば呼び覚ますことができるのか。それは、日々の修養を置いて他にない。私が表した修養は、生涯にわたる自己成長、 自己鍛錬のための道しるべだ。それは決して若い世代だけのものではない。むしろ人生経験を重ねた諸君にこそ、この修養の精神は新たな生きがいと輝きをもたらすものと確信する。修養とは古びた道徳を牧取することではない。それは常に新しい知識を求め、自らの経験を顧み、そして人間として成長し続けるという生き生きとした営みなのだ。それは老いることを恐れるのではなく、成熟することを喜びとする心構えなのだ。では今日から何をすればよいか、具体的に考えてみよう。第一に、一日の終わりにわずか5分でもよい、静かに座り、今日一日を振り返ってみてはどうだろうか。今日の私は誠実に行動できただろうか。誰かに対して温かい言葉をかけることができただろうか。何か新しい発見や学びはあっただろうかと自問するのだ。それを無理のない範囲で日記に短い言葉で書き留めるのも良いだろう。あるいは自分の人生を振り返り、その時々の出来事や感じたことを自分史として少しずつ書き記してみるのも素晴らしい修養となる。それは過去を整理し、現在の自分を肯定し、未来への指針を見出す助けとなるだろう。この内省こそが魂を磨き、日々の生活に深みを与える第一歩となる。諸君がこれまで歩んでこられた長い人生の足跡を改めて振り返ることは、それ自体が尊い修養となるはずだ。第二に、クエーカーの教えにある内なる光、すなわち良心の声に耳を澄ますことだ。毎朝深呼吸をして、今日は自分の良心に恥じない選択をしよう。自分の心に正直に、そして他者に対して誠実に接しようと静かに誓うのだ。そしてたとえ小さなことであっても正しいと信じることを実行に移す。例えば長年培ってきた経験や知識を若い世代に語り伝える機会があれば積極的に応じてみる。昔ながらの知恵や人生の教訓を孫や地域の子供たちに優しく、そして根気強く伝えていく。あるいは地域の文化活動や歴史保存の活動に参加し、ささやかながらも社会に貢献する。近所の人と挨拶を交わす際に一言温かい言葉を添える。感謝の気持ちを些細なことでも言葉にして伝える。その小さなしかし誠実な行動の積み重ねが君たちの人格をさらに輝かせ、揺るぎない自信と心の平和をもたらすだろう。これこそ忘れかけていた大和魂の輝きを日々の生活の中で再び呼び覚まし、人生の後半をさらに豊かにする力となるのだ。さて、次に私が諸君に強く訴えたい大和魂の真髄、その燃えるような本名はその行動力にある。内なる品格を磨くだけではまだ片手落ちだ。その尊い精神は具体的な行動としてこの現実世界に現れなければ真の価値を発揮することはない。私が英文で表した武士道、あの書で私が世界に示したかったのは行動を何よりも重んじるダイナミックな生き方の哲学なのだ。それは思索や内省を軽んじるものではない。むしろ深い思索と内省に裏打ちされた行動こそが真に価値あるものだと説いているのだ。そしてその行動は決して若い者だけの特権ではない。むしろ経験を積んだ諸君だからこそできる思慮深く、そして意義深い行動があるのだ。武士道は知識を重んじるものではない。重んずるものは行動である。現代は情報過多の時代だ。しかしその知識を君たちは生きた力へと転換できておるか。頭でっかちになり行動をためらってはいないか。特に人生経験を積んでこられた諸君は多くの知識と知恵をそのうちに蓄えておられるはずだ。それをただ蓄えておくだけではあまりにもったいないではないか。その知恵を具体的な行動を通して社会や他者のために役立ててこそ真の価値が生まれるのだ。理想を行動に移すことが人生である。理想なしにブラブラ流れのまま生きているのでは、存在するというだけで人間の生活をしているとは到底言い難い。 君たちは、ただ惰性で生きるために、この世に生を受けたのではないはずだ。一人一人が、心の中に何らかの理想や夢を抱いているはずだ。それは、若い頃に抱いた壮大な夢かもしれぬし、あるいは、人生の後半に芽生えた、ささやかな、しかし大切な願いかもしれぬ。年齢を重ねたからといって、理想を捨てる必要など、どこにもないのだ。むしろ、人生の後半だからこそ見えてくる、新たな理想があるはずだ。それは、社会への恩返しであったり、次世代の育成であったり、あるいは、自らの内面をさらに深めるという精神的な探求であったりするかもしれぬ。思うところは目的以上におけ、天に昇ろうとして、ようやく屋根に登るようなものである。目標は高く掲げよう。そして、その目標に向かって、今日、今、この瞬間から何ができるかを考え、実行に移すのだ。人生のどの段階にあっても、新たな目標を持ち、それに向かって行動することは、我々の魂を活性化させ、生きる喜びを与えてくれる。その目標は、決して壮大なものである必要はない。日々の生活の中に、小さな灯火を灯すような、ささやかな目標でも良いのだ。私自身の人生を振り返ってみても、まさに行動の連続であった。アメリカ人女性メアリー・エルキントンとの国際結婚。それは、当時、想像を絶するほどの反対と偏見に満ちたものだった。しかし、私は自らの愛と信念を貫き通した。それが、私の太平洋の橋になるという理想の具体的な第一歩だったのだ。また、ジョンズ・ホプキンス大学やドイツの大学での学びも、単なる知識の習得ではなく、それをいかに日本の発展に生かすかという、行動への強い意志に裏打ちされたものであった。札幌農学校での教鞭も、ただ知識を教えるのではなく、学生たちの人格を投野し、彼らが将来社会で行動する人間となることを願ってのものであった。国際連盟の事務次長という重責を担った際もそうだ。世界の平和という壮大な理想を追い求め、私は言葉だけでなく、具体的な提案と行動をもって、その実現に努めた。時には、日本の軍国主義的傾向に、命の危険さえ感じながらも、公の場で意を唱えることもあった。それは、沈黙という不作為を選ぶのではなく、たとえ微力でも、信じる正義のために行動するという、私なりの武士道の実践であった。では、今日から何をすればよいか。諸君にこそ、提案したいことがある。第一に、長年心に秘めていたこと、あるいは新しく挑戦したいと思っていること、どんな小さなことでもよい。紙に一つ書き出してみてほしい。それは、若い頃に諦めた楽器の演奏かもしれないし、行ったことのない場所への旅かもしれない。あるいは、新しい言語を学ぶこと、地域の歴史を研究すること、自分の人生を文章に綴ること、あるいは、長年培ってきた趣味をさらに深め、人に教えることかもしれない。大切なのは、それを目標として意識し、心をときめかせることだ。そのときめきこそが、若さの秘訣なのだ。第二に、その書き出した目標に対して、今日できる、ほんの小さな一歩を具体的に決めて、実行するのだ。楽器なら、まずは触ってみる。教本を開いてみる。昔の楽譜を探し出す。旅なら、パンフレットを集めてみる。インターネットで情報を調べてみる。一緒に行く友人に声をかけてみる。言語学習なら、挨拶の言葉を一つ覚えてみる。簡単な単語帳を作ってみる。その小さな一歩が、眠っていた行動力を呼び覚まし、次の一歩へとつながるのだ。完璧を求める必要はない。楽しみながら、自分のペースで進めればよい。その過程そのものが、諸君の人生を豊かに彩るだろう。失敗を恐れるな。人生の後半における挑戦は、結果以上に、その過程が尊いのだから、行動することによってのみ、君たちは新たな自己を発見し、生涯現役の精神を謳歌することができるのだ。そして、その行動する姿こそが、若い世代への何よりの励ましとなるのだ。 そして最後に、諸君が思い出し、その全存在で体現すべき大和魂の究極の姿、それはいかなる悲哀や逆境をも乗り越える不屈の力と他者への限りない慈愛をもって、この世界に温かい光を灯す、強靭にして優美なる魂のことである。人生は、喜びや成功ばかりではない。むしろ、多くの困難や悲しみ、そして予期せぬ試練に満ちている。諸君は、その長い人生の中で、幾度となくそのような経験をされてきたことだろう。そして、その経験こそが、君たちをより深く、より賢明な存在へと育て上げてきたのだ。私の生涯もまた、決して平坦な道ではなかった。札幌農学校時代の進行への会議、アメリカ留学中の人種的偏見、そして、愛する長男、文雄を幼くして亡くすという筆舌に尽くしがたい悲しみ、この死は、私の心に生涯消えることのない深い傷を残した。そして、その悲しみはつまめありようも打ちのめし、我々は共に心身を病み、カリフォルニアでの長い転地療養を余儀なくされた時期もある。それは、まさに人生の暗夜であり、一時は生きる希望さえ失いかけたほどであった。周囲の美しい自然さえも、色あせて見えたものだ。諸君の中にも、愛する者を失った悲しみ、あるいは健康を損なった苦しみ、夢破れた痛みなど、様々な試練を経験された方がおられるであろう。その痛みは、決して他人には計り知れないものだ。しかし、諸君、よく聞いてほしい。悲哀はあなたを強くする。これは、私がその絶望の淵から、まさにもがき苦しみながら、そして不死鳥が灰の中からよみがえるように、再び立ち上がり、一条の光を見出す中で掴んだ、偽らざる実感なのだ。逆境は、人間を試す砥石のようなものだ。その砥石で磨かれることによって、我々の魂はより鋭く、より強く、そしてより輝きを増すのだ。あの武士道もまた、その個人的な苦悩のどん底で、妻に日本文化を説明し、また日本の道徳教育に関する問いへの応答として書かれたものなのだ。深い悲しみの中で、私は自らの内なる日本の魂とは何かを問い直し、それを言葉として紡ぎ出すことで、再び生きる力を得たのだ。悲しみは、決して無駄にはならない。それは、我々に深い洞察と、他者への共感を与えてくれる、尊い教師でもあるのだ。悲しみを経験した者こそ、他者の悲しみに真に寄り添うことができるのだから。逆境にある人は常にもう少しだと言って進むといい。やがて必ず前途に光が差してくる。人生に、乗り越えられない試練はない。諦めずに、一歩、また一歩と前に進む勇気さえあれば、必ず道は開けるのだ。時には、立ち止まることも勇気であることを忘れてはならない。無理に進もうとせず、静かに自分の心と向き合い、力を蓄える時間もまた、人生には必要なのだ。特に、人生の後半においては、急ぐ必要はない。じっくりと、自分のペースで、しかし確実な一歩を踏み出すことが肝要だ。そして、その一歩を踏み出す際に、過去の経験が必ずや君たちの支えとなるだろう。そして、そのようにして培われた内なる強さ、すなわち真の大和魂は、決して自己満足のためだけにあるのではない。それは、他者への深い共感と慈愛の心へとつながり、そして、人と人、国と国とを結ぶ橋となる力へと昇華されるべきものなのだ。国家よりも人間を見よ、条約よりも心を通わせよう、それぞれの人格を尊敬しよう。この精神こそ、クエーカーの教えであり、また、日本の武士道が徳人の心に通じるものだと私は信じておる。諸君は、その豊かな人生経験を通して、この他者への共感と慈愛の重要性を、誰よりも深く理解されているはずだ。その理解を、今こそ、具体的な行動で示してほしいのだ。では、今日から何をすればよいか。第一に、君たちの豊かな人生経験の中で培われた強さと知恵を、改めて認識し、それを誇りに思ってほしい。 これまで乗り越えてきた困難や悲しみを思い出し、それが今の自分をどれほど強く、懸命にしてくれたかをかみしめよう。そして、その経験から得た教訓を、もし機会があれば、若い世代や、今まさに困難に直面している誰かに、そっと分かち合ってみてはどうだろうか。君たちの言葉は、何よりも力強い励ましとなるはずだ。例えば、孫や地域の若者たちに、自らの体験談を、説教ではなく、温かい物語として語り聞かせる。あるいは、自らの経験を生かせるような相談役やメンターとしての役割を、無理のない範囲で担うこともできるだろう。その際、決して自分の価値観を押し付けるのではなく、相手の言葉に静かに耳を傾ける傾聴の姿勢が大切だ。第二に、身近な人々への慈愛を具体的な形で表現してみよう。家族や友人に日頃の感謝の気持ちを改めて伝える。手紙を書くのもよい。あるいは、地域社会でささやかなボランティア活動に参加してみるのもよい。公園の清掃、子供たちの見守り、図書館での読み聞かせ、あるいは趣味のサークルでの世話役など、君たちの力が必要とされている場は、きっとあるはずだ。誰かの役に立つ喜びは、君たちの心を温め、生きがいを深めるだろう。そして、異なる意見を持つ人に対しても、すぐに否定するのではなく、まず相手の立場を理解しようと努める。その寛容さ、忍耐強さこそが、諸君が持つべき美徳であり、真の太平洋の橋を、まずは身近な人間関係、家庭や地域社会の中から築く第一歩なのだ。さあ、諸君、私の魂の叫びは、君たちの魂の奥底にまで届いただろうか。私が語り続けてきた大和魂。それは、決して遠い過去の遺物ではない。それは、今、この瞬間も、君たちの内側で燃え盛ることを待っている。聖なる火なのだ。それは、君たちがこれまでの人生で培ってきた、誠実さ、勇気、思いやり、そして困難に立ち向かう不屈の精神、そのすべてなのだ。そして、それはまた、これから君たちが新たに築き上げていく、未来への希望の光でもあるのだ。品格ある魂を育み、内なる誠の光に従いなさい。知識をひけらかすのではなく、理想を行動に移す勇気を持ちなさい。そして、悲哀を持つ良さに変え、他者を慈しみ、世界とつながる橋となりなさい。これこそが、私が君たちに託したい、真の大和魂を持ちなさいという、魂からの呼びかけなのである。そして、その大和魂は、決して君たちを裏切ることはない。いいか、諸君、人生は短い。しかし、その短き人生を、いかに生きるかによって、その価値は無限に変わるのだ。表面的な成功や、一時的な快楽に惑わされてはならぬ。自らの魂を磨き、高潔な人格を築き上げ、そして、その力を、より良き世界のために使うのだ。特に、人生の後半を迎えた諸君は、これまでの人生で得た多くの実りを、どのように社会に還元し、次世代に何を残していくかを考える、尊い使命を帯びているのだ。それは、重荷ではなく、むしろ、人生の最終章を飾るにふさわしい、大きな喜びと名誉であるはずだ。今日、この瞬間から、君たちの人生は、さらに輝きを増すことができる。いや、君たち自身の手で、そうするのだ。内に秘めた大和魂を、人生の集大成として、そして未来への希望として、堂々と呼び覚まし、勇気を持って新たな一歩を踏み出したまえ。その先には、必ずや、年齢を超えた、心の底からの充実感と、穏やかな、しかし確かな幸福が待っている。そして、その輝きは、君たち自身だけでなく、君たちの愛する家族、友人、そしてこの社会全体を、温かく照らし出すであろう。私、新渡戸稲造が、そう断言する。君たちの、これからの人生が、実り多く、そして輝かしいものとなることを、心から祈っておるぞ。今日の話が、君の魂に、消えることのない、 新たな希望と勇気の火をつけたなら、この偉人の知恵という名の灯台に、チャンネル登録という形で、君の船をつないでほしい。さらなる真理の探求、そして人生のより深い豊かさと勝利を求めるならば、また、この場所で、魂の言葉を交わし合おうではないか。
I started a business 7 years ago, and it was so successful that I wanted to expand the business. And a best friend and business partner invested in my business, and that second business financially has failed. And I feel such tremendous pressure because of all of the weight and pressure I've given to her life. And I'm trying to come out of it, but I constantly feel her disappointment and her sadness and her stress and her pressure.
Then you can't get out of it.
And then I feel guilty for feeling okay.
You can't get to where you want to be from there.
Right.
Next.
I need guidance.
Well, the guidance is you got to feel different. And the guidance is you can't feel different while you're looking right at that. But you're sort of inclined to look at that. And we spend all day, every day, and all of the words that we offer, wanting you to realize that you don't have to look at that. And so that doesn't have to control the way you feel. But when that's what your habit of thought is, then there's a momentum going there. And so you've got enough momentum because you're human, and most people are focusing upon what is right now, and the entirety of your vibrational attitude about this is based upon what you're looking right at, compounded by somebody else who's looking at it too. So what this scenario says to us, the way you explained it was really helpful, is that when you were standing in your own vibration, that you were more in sync with your desire. There was less resistance within you. And it's because what you would call the risks were all yours, and you weren't that worried about it. And it started small and it grew larger and larger. You didn't get your business bigger than your business. And so it was more of a joyful journey. And then when it got bigger, because there wasn't enough momentum in the vibration of it to attract the partner that was equivalent to yours, you attracted someone who introduced resistance where it hadn't been before, because there was more risk, because it was that person's money. And so as that person felt more risk, then that person offered influence that you fell under. Now, you didn't need to, and it doesn't matter that you did, but it does matter that you don't continue to be under that influence. You got to get out from under that influence, and you can't get out from under it by wishing that it hadn't happened, because it has. The laws of the universe aren't going to change or adjust themselves to the outcome that you want. The laws of the universe are going to work the way the laws of the universe work, and you have to work within those, which means you have to get out from under the influence of worry and maybe even blame and certainly guilt, and get back under the influence of exhilaration about your business. If it worked once, it can work again. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for something to be viable and successful in one regard and then not in another. And it's because there are other factors that are part of the equation that you must understand what they are. Whether it's been the influence of success is the dominant influence, or the influence of worry are the dominant influence. So what are you going to do? What do you do when you're standing right in the middle of it? Wouldn't it be nice to start all over again, because then you know better? Well, here's the truth of it all. You are always starting all over again. In every moment, you are new unto the universe. In every moment, you can establish a new point of attraction. You could meditate and clear your vibration and be new like you were in the very first place. But most humans don't do that. It's like our friend said, you get new and then you get old again. You get new, you get forward looking, and then you get past looking.
I feel guilty for doing what you're saying. That's what I feel, and my business partner would never intentionally want to make me feel that way.
Well, stop
that's saying what happens.
Just saying that to us. We're just going to read this clearly, and we want to really give you something, because everybody relates to it in one way or another. But we really want you to hear this. You stated that with such fervor and factualness. I feel guilty. Almost as if you were making an unequivocal statement that the universe needed to adjust to. And the universe is responding to that. So a better statement would be, I feel guilty and I don't mean to. And I feel guilty and I want to let that go. And I feel guilty and I know the disadvantage of feeling guilty. And I feel guilty because it is my old habit. And I feel guilty, but I can produce new habits. And I feel guilty, but guilt is not natural to me. And I know that what guilt is my opinion is different than the opinion of my inner being. I know that my inner being's lined up with the success of my business, and I'm lined up with the worry of my business. And so this guilt doesn't feel good to me. I feel guidance. I don't feel guilty. I feel guidance. I feel guidance that this thought is not helping. In fact, I feel so much guidance that this thought isn't helping that I'm not going to think that thought as much anymore. Oh, well, maybe I will, but I don't want to. Well, at least I'm not going to speak about it. Well, maybe I will if there's enough momentum. But I'm going to look for moments when I'm not flowing that way. In fact, I'm going to focus upon some other things. I'm going to find satisfaction in other areas of my life. I'm going to look for so many things to feel satisfied about that this guilty subject just doesn't have enough airtime within me. I'm not going to let myself feel guilty as much as I've been feeling guilty. It's sort of my propensity to feel guilty. I sort of wear the badge of honor about how guilty I feel. I've been a sort of sacrificial person, and feeling guilty somehow has been working for me out there in the physical, mundane, mediocre, failing world. But I realize that now I'm playing in a different game. I've got success going for me. And so I feel guilty about feeling guilty is because your guidance lets you know that feeling guilty is not productive. So you don't feel guilty about your guilt. You feel aware that it isn't helping. You don't feel guilty about your guilt. You feel aware that you're not moving in the direction of your desire, that you're not in sync with your desire, that you're out there on the raw and ragged edge, and that you're not allowing the influence of source energy to affect you in that moment. That's all. That's all.
So what happens when you can't pay your bills and creditors are calling and there are all these things that are happening?
Do you see what you're doing? Do you see what you're doing? You are trying to support the guilt that you feel.
Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say that I know I meditate every morning. Thank you very much.
Blah, blah, blah.
All
blah,
of this.
blah, blah. You keep talking about what you do not want, and you can't get around that. You got to stop doing that. So what happens when I can't pay my bills, you say? We say, first of all, don't talk about it. So I've got this reality, Abraham, that I have to face. I have to face this reality. This is a reality that I am facing. And we say, yeah, we know that. But you could, you're not even trying yet, you could find a different vibration about it. Try right now, if you can. Ask the question, and then you answer it.
How do I not carry the weight?
No, that's not the question. The question is, what do I do when I can't pay my bills? That was the question.
What do I do when I can't pay my bills?
Now answer it.
Pay what I can.
Keep trying.
Work harder. That's been what I've been doing, though.
That's all right, but keep trying. You're under the influence of that, so that's all right. What do I do when I can't pay my bills? Just hear this. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you can't pay your bills, what are you going to do? You're going to not pay your bills, and you're going to have a choice about how you feel about that. So you can not pay them, and you can blame her, you can blame you, you can blame whatever you want to blame and get nowhere. Or you can not pay your bills, and you can remember better times, or you can lean toward things getting better. You can't control the current reality because the current reality had momentum coming in. It had momentum coming in, and it is what it is. So you can't control what that is, but you can control, or let's say curb, your response to what is. So I can't pay my bills, but I could meditate. I'm too worried to meditate. I can't clear my mind. I need to work harder instead of meditate. Just keep perpetuating that. But I can't pay my bills, but I can find satisfaction. I can't pay my bills, but I really appreciate this girl that came to play with me. I can't pay my bills. Now, it's even better if you get off that subject altogether. There's this subject that has me worried, and there's all these wonderful things. I can go to Asheville. I can spend some time with fun people. I can, against all odds, get in the hot seat and have a conversation with infinite intelligence. I can find the vibration of it. I can acknowledge the reality of the vortex. I can acknowledge that my business, our business, because our business is bigger than it has ever been because the contrast has made it bigger. And I can acknowledge that when I line up with what it is, it will be more than it has ever been, which was the whole point of the expansion that I asked for. I wasn't wrong to ask for expansion in the way that I did because expansion was inevitable. I asked for expansion, and I got expansion in that we spread out a little bit, but I also got expansion in that it introduced resistance into my equation that caused me to launch more rockets of desire, and my vortex version of my business is expanded, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I can catch up with that. And it doesn't really matter what's going on right now. I'm stable enough. I know what to do. We can work hard enough to keep ourselves stable. We don't have to lose this business. I know what to do. I know what to do, but at the same time that I am working maybe longer and harder and with more clarity, I'm also finding vibrational stability with this bigger business. I can't give up on my dream, but I could give up resistance. We're not asking you to give up your business. We're asking you to give up your resistance. We're asking you to give up your propensity to complain about it or to try to justify where you are by talking about what's going wrong. You see? Everybody, relative to everything that they have, is in a place where it is improving. And it doesn't matter how successful you feel that you are. You could mess it up with a thought or you could enhance it with a thought. Doesn't matter whether you're a billionaire or a millionaire or whether you're just starting with a fledgling business or whether you're talking about a relationship or anything else. It could get bigger. It already is bigger. You could lean toward the bigness of it or you could lean away from it. You get to choose all of that. And the reason we're talking so strong with you is because, first of all, you represent everybody else because everybody's doing a little bit of that, but you have a propensity to want to explain it like it is. That's what's going on with you right now. And there's enough about what is that is satisfying. If you got to explain it like it is, then at least look for the things that are satisfying as you explain them. You hear all of this, aren't you?
Yes.
So the universe won't let you down, and your inner being has your back, and your inner being knows what you want, and your inner being knows how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. But you've got to listen or feel for the impulses, and you can't get there while you're talking about what is. And it's not because Source isn't telling you. We're speaking to you as directly and as loudly as is appropriate under these conditions, and you still can't actually hear us, not quite yet. But it isn't because we're not giving it everything we've got, and it isn't because we don't know about the absolute success and magnitude of your business. It's because you've got yourself in a vibrational place that is temporary. And every day from this moment forward, you're going to release more of that and allow more of this. It's just the way that it all works. And there's going to be a time not very far from now that you are going to enjoy or feel satisfaction over the desire that's in your belly, even when it hasn't manifested. Most people have a hard time with that at first because you want to see it and then you want to have an emotional response to it. We want you to use your mind to accomplish an emotional response of satisfaction, and then you'll see it. And we never say anything that we don't know to be. We're not pretending that there's something there for you. We know that there is. It's yours to allow or to disallow. And when you disallow it, you see, all that guilt and all that pain and all that discomfort that you were explaining to us isn't about the actual business itself. It's about you pinching yourself off from your own desire. Now we're going to give you the most important statement of the entire weekend. Ready for it? You are the creation, not your business.
Yeah.
You're creating yourself to be the receiver. The business is just the excuse you use to create you. And that's why it's so upsetting when it feels like it's not working. It feels like you're failing, and you're not. You're just step one-ing a little longer than is comfortable. That's all. That's all that it is. And can you imagine the euphoria you feel when you meditate and release that for a moment, even before the business changes at all? You're going to have lots of really good feeling moments, and nothing is going to be visible to you yet because it's on its way down. But when you realize that you're the creation, then the moments that you feel good for me. And someone says, oh, you make a bunch of money today? No, I just feel good. Why? Because I aligned with source energy. What good is that? It's everything. It's everything, because my connection to source energy is the propagation, the creation, the allowance of me. I'm the creator of a business. The business is irrelevant. I'm the creator of the creation. I'm the creator of the creation. I'm the creator and I am the creation. And the business is just something I focus upon. Working for money is like motivation as compared to inspiration. Working for money is the action part. And certainly, there's always action involved in the allowing of money into your experience. We're not trying to guide you away from action. Doing is really fun. Doing in the flow is way more fun, though, than doing not in the flow. And doing because you can't stop yourself from doing it because the momentum is such is way more fun and way more productive than doing it because it needs to be done. But of course you want action. Action is this manifested point out here on the leading edge. Action is way fun. You just want to do it from a vibrational aligned standpoint, not from a vibrational misaligned standpoint. That's all. Action from the path of least resistance, not action from a path of more resistance. If the emphasis is on the energy work, the alignment work, and then the inspired action, then that's a whole different thing than working for money. What we're talking about is this movement from the vortex where it's unseen into the bank account where it is seen. In other words, this transfer from vibration into material. And we want you to understand there is an infinite array of ways that you are not even considering, that you couldn't even possibly consider. In other words, at best, you can make a bulky general list, but when you get tuned into this and the ideas start flowing, the flow of energy and the flow of economics, the flow of prosperity, unlimited resources. Look even at your economics of today and think about how robust it is in comparison with 100 years ago. And 100 years ago, no one could have conceived of the avenues through which the abundance flows, or the height to which the abundance has swollen, or the degree to which the abundance affects the details of your life experience, you see. So let's not make a puny little list. Let's just call it unlimited and open ourselves to the ideas that are ripe for the plucking now. I'm going to accept the unlimitedness of it. I'm going to accept the ripeness of ideas that I'm about to receive. It's hard for a doer, isn't it? It's hard for somebody who's used to just getting in and doing it. And it's annoying when you do and others don't do. But those who are really doing aren't doing. Those that are really receiving have got this vibrational flow going. Now just answer this as you believe it to be. There's only a slight trap here for you. But answer this as you believe it to be. Do you believe that currently your prosperity, and we're talking about financial prosperity, do you believe right now that your financial prosperity is tied to your action? Because most of you would say, well, this is how I earn my living. I exchange this action for this income. And so let us lay the trap a little tighter for you. If you stopped doing today what you've been doing, would your money flow tomorrow the way it's been flowing? If you didn't go to work tomorrow, would your money flow? And if you didn't go to work tomorrow, for those of you who, if you don't go to work tomorrow and don't do what you usually do, and your money doesn't flow, then what? Then what? In other words, does your money feel dependent on your action? Yes. So, thank you for being honest. Well, for most, that's normal in your economy of today, isn't it? That you have trained yourself or been hired to do something in exchange, or you've positioned yourself to do something in exchange. Economics is about that, isn't it? It's about providing service for one another. Aren't your economics all about your interaction with each other? Here's another question for you. If there was no one else on the planet, would your business or means of making money be necessary? If there were no one else to participate with you in any way, goods or services, would there be any reason for you to provide them? Can you step back far enough to acknowledge that your interaction with one another is what the basis of the economics is all about? Can you step far enough back to acknowledge that economy rests on, rides on, depends on, at the basis of is serving one another in some way. Do you believe that the ways to serve one another have all been figured out? Do you believe that there are desires in the ethers, on the minds, the lips, the hopes and dreams of the masses that are still to be discovered? Do you believe that you have the ability to position yourself as you choose to be the beneficiary of the satisfaction of serving others? We tricked you, didn't we? Because what we want you to embrace first is that your economics and how they flow to you are about the energy that you are flowing outward to others. In other words, it's what you're offering, what you're receiving and what you're offering are the same. They are vibrationally equivalent. And if you can think in terms of the service that you're offering, now we offer that word carefully because you misunderstand it every time someone uses the word. But in this conversation that we're having, where we've agreed that economics is all about serving one another, in other words, it's what it all is, then as you acknowledge that your contribution, what you are offering to this mix, is of value to others, once you go there, now your understanding of economics is in a whole new place that can serve you in a whole new way. So now we'll ask you, are you there yet? Do you acknowledge that it is your service to others? So now, in what ways do you serve others? You serve others by getting energy flowing. You serve others by tapping into the stream of infinite intelligence. You serve others by tuning in, tapping in to the frequency, this high power frequency. You serve others by understanding the path of least resistance. You serve others by tapping in, not just to infinite intelligence, but to infinite prosperity, to infinite abundance of energy, to infinite ideas. If you're serving others, then isn't it the idea that really is at the basis of most service, you see? When you loosen up these cobwebs and you start acknowledging that you could be in the right place at the right time, in more conversations, in more opportunities to uplift, if you would put your attention upon the energy that you're receiving, which then you will be flowing. But here's the most interesting thing about economics. We already said it to you, but we're going to say it to you again. You don't get it until you give it, because it is the asking for it that summons it. So when you get into an attitude of service, which is asking for it on the behalf of others, now you open a really big portal, a really big vortex of abundance, you see. And that's really the place that you want to start with all of this. In what ways can I be of value to others? Now let's start generally. Are you of more value to others when you are ornery or happy? Well, that's not a difficult thing to understand, and yet it's usually not a question that you ask in relationship to economics, is it? Because you're thinking in terms of your action, not in terms of your attitude. But your attitude, your mood, your vibration is everything in terms of what you receive and in terms of what you give, you see. So if you're thinking in terms of being the portal through which all of this flows, do you acknowledge that the world is out there asking? Do you acknowledge that their life experiences are what are causing them to identify what the next economic booms will be? Do you know that there are economic booms in the vortex right now that haven't even been discovered by those who will feel the inspiration to provide the response to the boom that is being asked for? So, does it overwhelm you to think about being the creative genius that is inspired to that? We're not asking all of you to be the next Bill Gates, but why not? We're not asking you to be the next innovator of the next big invention, but why not? But what we are asking you to do is acknowledge that there is infinite energy flowing, and enough abundance will flow to serve you in the way that you are wanting to be served once you get into this flow of economics. It's all about energy, you see. As much money is coming to you, we're saying money, financial abundance is coming to you as you are asking for and allowing. But what's interesting, you're motivating yourself to the asking rather than inspiring yourself to the asking. So it's not a clear, open thing that's going on, because in the worrying about what you're going to do with it or where it's going to come from, you block the flow of it. So if you could just concentrate on the fact that the flow exists and on the fact that there is a path of least resistance that is available to you right here and now, if you could just acknowledge that you have the ability to get on this path and you have the ability to receive the flow instead of worrying about where it's going to be, when it's going to be, who's going to bring it, where it's going to come from, how long it's going to last, how big it's going to be. When you ask those questions that make you wobble, then you don't do either one of those two things. You don't hook up to the energy and you don't flow it towards something that is meaningful to you. That was a big economic discussion, but how does it translate into something that you do something about? It doesn't translate into how you do something about it. It translates into how you feel about money. You got to feel like there's plenty of it out there and there's a lot of it earmarked for you. You got to feel that way because it is that way. And then you got to figure out how to figure out, how you got to figure out. You got to feel your way to it, and it's on the path of least resistance. It's not on the path of hardship. It's not on the path of struggle. It's not on the path of determination or effort. It's not on the path of motivation. It's on the path of inspiration. You got to tune into the path, you see, to the path of inspiration. So we have some questions for you. We asked you some earlier. You were quiet about it. We want you to be more bold in your response now. Do you believe in infinite intelligence? Yes. And do you believe in infinite abundance? Yes. And do you believe that you've carved out a path of abundance for yourself? Yes. Do you understand that your vortex holds that path? Yes. Do you believe that the path will be inspired to you? Yes. Do you think you'll get there with worry? No. How are you going to get there? How are you going to find the trail? How are you going to find that path? You're going to worry your way to it? You're going to struggle your way to it? What do you want to do? What do you like to do? Do you believe that you can serve doing something that's fun to do? Do you believe that you can find satisfaction in what you do? Do you believe that you know what some of those things are? Do you believe that they're queued up and in your vortex already? Do you believe that there's a path already laid out for you that you're just reaching for the inspiration to? Yeah. So how do you find that path? This is the question of all questions. How do you find the path? Think about it. How do you find the path? You don't find the path finds you. It's an inspired path. It's not a motivated path. The path will find you. But you got to stay in that general place. You got to be in that place. You've got to highlight within you what matters to you. I like freedom, and I like fun, and I like inspiration. I like great ideas, and I like being of value. And I like sniffing out the trail, and I like following the trail, and I like where the trail leads. The path will find you. You've just got to do the wobble-free work, you see. The path will find you. But you got to put yourself in the place of receiving the inheritance. Sometimes the inheritance comes in the form of money deposited right to your account, and you all think, yeah, that's the method I choose. But sometimes it comes in the form of an idea. Sometimes it comes in the form of a collective experience with others. And depending upon who you are and what you want, it will satisfy all of those things, you see. And so when we said the path will find you, the path has already found you. It's just an eternally unfolding path. It will continue to surprise and delight you, you see. You just got to decide that you want to feel good and that you want to have fun, and what matters to you is this. That's the abundance that is yours. That's the inheritance that's there for you. And the question is, are you ready? Are you ready? Do you really love yourself? Have you practiced that? How much do you love life? Because that's what opens to you. You see, yeah.